had a 4-day weekend this past weekend and I am so rested and relaxed. I feel fantastic and I'm ready to go into this week. Y'all, I have a lot going on this week. We have PSSAs for 2 days. I have the Earth Day celebration at the end of this week. We're also getting our garden started up, and then somewhere in between all of that, including my junior achievement lessons that have to happen for 4th and 5th grade, I have to apparently attempt to try to teach, and then I also have to learn how to do a glow stick dance. That's true. First and foremost, I gotta get my room ready for PSSAs. I am definitely one of those teachers, y'all, that I like to put my room back the way it was. I'm so curious. I'm gonna do like a little poll. I wanna know, are you a teacher that like leaves your room the way that it is for testing? Like you don't change it around, or do you immediately have your kids put all of the furniture back the way it goes? Because I am one of those teachers. So that means every morning I have to come in and rearrange it, because I forgot to do that on Friday or Thursday. When was I at school last? I don't remember. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my room together this morning. Okay, so I think I'm ready for testing this morning. I am not an artist. I'm just gonna say that. So ain't muffin to do but to try your best. I put the schedule up there for the kids. I also have snacks that have already been sorted for the next 2 days. So we're gonna use one today and then one for tomorrow's PSSA testing. I have our message up on the board that we have to have posted for PSSAs, and then their calculators are all set and all of the tables are ready to go. Okay, so I have to get ready to go to a meeting this morning at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna go do that, grab my box for PSSAs, hopefully somewhere in between there, go to the bathroom, and get the day started. Here we go. I'm already a hot mess. By the way, did you guys see this? God bless that hot mess. The kids were officially gone. Schedule during PSSA time is very, very different for me. My lunch ends up getting cut down, so I didn't have a ton of time to be able to do any videoing during that. And then my special gets put at the very end of the day, so I just used that time to get ready for tomorrow's PSSA. So pencils are sharpened, everything on my board is up, the desks are put the way that they need to be. And so I feel really, really good coming in the morning, not having to stress out about anything, which is fantastic. So today, like I said, we have kind of like a weird schedule when we are on PSSA days. So ELA is already done. We did that last week. This week is math. Like we have it today and then we have it tomorrow. And then only fourth graders are going to have science PSSAs next week for 2 days. But it doesn't really affect our schedule, which is nice because those only last about an hour. So tomorrow's gonna be the last day for the weird schedule, but then like there's all this other random stuff that's happening. So Thursday I think is the only normal-ish type of day that we're gonna have. Friday we have like a party in the afternoon. So that's gonna be weird too. So I would love to know, like, whenever you guys do testing, if you have testing in your school, like, do you try to hit all of your subjects? Because what we do is the opposite of what we're testing. So if we're testing in math, we do reading in the afternoon, and then if we're testing in reading, we do math in the afternoon, because we do only have a good like hour and a half, like an hour and 20 minutes for that, and then we usually have content during that time, because content is super important for us right now just because of our PBL. I wanted to share with you guys what we did for reading today, because I thought the lesson itself came out really, really well, and we just had this really funny little article that I'll kind of share little snippets of it for you, because it's just funny. It's not real, it's not true, but it's just a really funny article that we used to introduce bias. And then later on this afternoon, I need to go with my husband. We're gonna go pick up some of the soil and also the plants to be able to get our garden going later on this week, which is super exciting. Let me show you what we did on bias. I wanted to show you guys where I do my instruction. This table is typically not here, but this is where I do my sitting, and then I have my anchor charts kind of posted all the way across here because it's magnetic, so it makes it a really nice little surface. But I can't really sit over here and explain to you guys what we've been doing just because that vent right there is super loud. So here's just where I would do my teaching, but now let's talk about what I was teaching. So we've been talking about author's point of view. In 6th grade, I've been teaching 6th grade. By the way, I haven't been teaching 4th grade, but I've been teaching 6th grade for probably the last like 4 months or so. And we've been doing author's point of view for informational. And with that, last week we went into firsthand and then secondhand accounts. This week we're going into bias and understanding bias and how do we identify bias within articles that we're reading. This allows us to be able to get multiple perspectives and a better understanding. I talk to my kids a lot about that whole view versus just those like main like narrow view. You want to have like an all well-rounded idea of the topic itself. So I found some really great anchor charts. These are not some that I came up with, but I really loved them, so I went on ahead and I copied these down. This is the one that I used today, and it's identifying author bias. And it's really nice just because it has some really great critical thinking questions to be able to refer to a text. So the kids will answer these questions to help them identify that bias. So I'm just gonna hold it super still. You can pause it here. I'm sure I'll look crazy, and read it for yourself. So I kind of went over this with them, and then today I was just kind of the opening of it, and I had this really cute little article that another teacher had given me, and it talks about the how my school district ends the greatest day of the year. And it's so funny because there's so much exaggeration here, and there's a lot of bias. So I'm gonna read to you a little snippet of just how it goes. Breaking news. The high school will no longer be serving Stromboli. Administrators say it causes kids not to be able to focus during the day. Students are in disbelief that their coveted Boli Day is being taken away from them. Each month, students circle their calendar and wait for their favorite lunch of the year. Each Boli Day, students stampede into the cafeteria and buy upwards of 3 to 4 Strombolis. Administrators are prepared for the backlash but are not expecting the worst. So Senior was full of anger when the news broke. She went on to tell a story about Boli Day freshman year. So it goes on, it talks about how they're getting rid of Stromboli. It's not true, but it's very, very comical. And I think in one of these questions where it talks about, does it make you feel uneasy? And I told the kids that this doesn't necessarily make you feel uneasy, but it's so unbelievably comical that it's hard to truly believe the information. So it's kind of that from that perspective. So we went through and we answered each of the questions, and it worked out fantastically. Tomorrow the kids are going to have an article where them and another partner are going to be able to read through it, and they have to answer the questions that I have here to help them think a little bit more critically and understand the bias of that author in it. So that's what we did today. It was a great lesson. What I'm also going to do is they printed out their rough drafts for their writing, and we're going to go through highlighters. So I do a highlighter activity where the kids have to highlight the topic sentence in each paragraph. They have to highlight the details, the explanations, the closing sentence, but they're also going to have to start looking for bias in their own writing and identifying their bias. So that's going to be a really great activity. I think it's going to get them to see it and understand it a little bit better. So I'm super stoked about it. All right, I now have to get everything that I need to get in order to go get all the stuff for the garden, and yeah, I'm gonna go and do that now. I didn't know where to go with that. So yesterday, Trin and I went and purchased all of our soil. We got 24 bags of topsoil, and then we got 16 bags of vegetable garden soil, which is a little bit more rich, which allows our garden to flourish a little bit better than what you would normally do in just normal topsoil. eventually the goal will be to have some sort of compost pile that we are going to be able to use versus having to purchase the really expensive soil. And we do need to replenish the 2 beds that we started last year because the soil itself has kind of gone down a little bit. Anywho, that is done. We are both very achy from it. It goes to show how out of shape we are. This morning I walked in to everything ready to go and it feels so fantastic. I still feel very refreshed and not as tired as what I've been since January, February, which is very nice. So today I was kind of like walking around because I get here pretty early, about an hour early than what I need to get here, and I'm like, what is it that I could be doing? So here's what I am gonna do, and I'm gonna show it to you guys. So excuse the very awkward angle that you guys are going to see this at. I do apologize. This is the best I can do today. But I have been working with my husband on creating the new teacher planner, which I am so flipping excited about. And I'm not going to go into a ton of detail to show you guys all of the little bits and pieces of what's kind of happening. The one thing that I do want to show you, which is going to lead me to what I'm doing today, is I have decided to create checklists. Specifically, end of the year, beginning of the year, conference checklist, party planning checklist. So you'll see like a beginning of the year, end of the year, field trip checklist if you're planning a field trip, conference checklists, party checklists, and then a blank one that you could create for any occasion or activity that you would like to plan it for. But these are pretty generic, but they allow you to be able to fill in to kind of some of your needs. And for the most part, all of us have to do this. So I'm kind of thinking of what are some of the things that I really want to make sure that I have done. And down here at the bottom, I have a clean, organize, and purge. And so wiping out the baskets, tubs, all of that good stuff, as far as like the manipulatives go, I'm gonna hold off on. But there is one right here where it says clean out and organize messy cabinets and or supply closets. That is something I definitely want to get done, so you guys can see it a little bit better there. So this clean out, organize messy cabinets and or supply closets. I have 2 more closets in my classroom that have to absolutely get cleaned out, or I may end up crying at the end of the year. So I think I'm going to focus on this piece when I have that extra time in my classroom. For instance, like this morning, where I am really on my game and I have everything that I need to have done, so I can focus a little bit more on some of these items. I don't know about you guys, but at the end of the year, we really don't get a ton of time. So we have like, I think half day, and then we're done. Like teachers don't have to come back. So in a sense, I'm like, I really don't know if I want to be here. So I'm going to try to get as much done. Whoa, color changed. I want to get as much done as I possibly can during this next month. So let me show you maybe just the one closet, because I'm super embarrassed about the other one. The one closet that I want to get cleaned out, and I probably need to get new tubs for. I have to probably get new tubs for both of those closets that I have to clean out. But we're gonna focus on one. So this closet I speak of is all the way back here in this corner. You guys may have remembered that I am a little bit of a craft supply junkie, but it has just become a flippin' hot mess of just stuff. So I would really like to get this cleaned out. Overall, my back closets look fantastic. There's the binder closet. This is the kids' fault, not mine. And the next closet. Okay, so maybe I have 3 closets. I've gotten an abundance of books recently, and I gotta do something with those. Okay, so maybe I have 3 closets that I have to clean out. But let's be honest, that book one isn't really that bad. So that's kind of what I need to tackle, but I have to kind of clean out all the stuff that's in this one back here in order to see what is it that I need to have and what I not need to have. I know there are definitely some things in here that don't need to be in here. Do I really want to start this today? See, it's just like little random things. Yeah. It's just all stuffed in here. Holy, ah! Well, that was one way of doing it. So with the exception of the paper, I've been able to take pretty much everything out of the closet that I don't really want in there. This is gonna mainly be all of my craft supplies. I would like to get bins that are all coordinated bins, just because I've collected them over the years and it's just time for some that are refreshed and they look a little bit more pleasing to the eye and that stack a little bit more nicely. These are really, really wobbly and they just drive me nuts. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to keep it as my paint items. So I have 2 bins with paint. I have my headphones that I've used, like my Whisper phones that I've used in the past. I don't know if I want to keep these in here just because it's not really a craft. Like, it doesn't really go in the closet. So this might end up moving. And then I have some bags that I have kept over the years to be able to send little goodies home, or if kids need some type of sort of a lunch bag or anything. I have my little chalkboards that I keep to put up signs. These mats I use for when we do any sort of art projects and I need to lay things out to dry. And then down here is pretty much empty. So I would like to get some more bins like this to put down in this area to organize a few other items. As you can see, this is the hot mess. A lot of it is honestly just random little items that just need to get put away that for some odd reason were never put away appropriately. So that is what I'm going to work on today. Hopefully I can get this done. If not, it's not a big deal. I have the rest of the week and I feel really, really good about everything that I have done as far as like my teaching goes. So in kindergarten, when I would do any sort of like activity where they had to kind of paint their faces or we had them create themselves, we used to take yarn and I had different colors that the kids would then glue around their heads. It was so cute. Not their real heads, but the ones on the paper. But it was adorable. So now I have all of these random cut strings and I'm struggling with getting rid of them. Holy moly, I got a lot done. Okay, so that is it for my organization session this morning. I am now a hot, sweaty mess, and now I have to go to a meeting this morning before we get started with our day. So I'm gonna head to go to that. Hopefully during lunch, I think what I'm gonna do is run out to Target. It's very, very close to us. And I think I'm just gonna get some bins because I don't have time to do it after school. So I think that's the game plan. Testing is done, and as soon as it was done, we headed to lunch and I hauled butt to Target. I still have 8 minutes. I feel like that's really good, especially for having a way shorter lunch than what I normally do. I'm feeling like a boss. Okay, so here's what I ended up deciding to get. So I got some of the larger baskets because I needed them for the felt. I also needed some for strings, like the yarn and strings that I have. So I got 4 of these, and they're just plain like Sterilite. I don't need the really, really fancy ones. They were really expensive. You know what, I got money for that. And then I ended up going, they didn't have the gray ones, but I thought this was pretty anyways. So I ended up going with 20 of these. I might end up going back and getting 1 more container of these, but at least they all match. They're pretty. It'll look lovely on the inside, which is all I worry about. I'm gonna go heat up my lunch, and then later on today I will get started with swapping out some of the materials inside of that closet. I think for the most part, y'all, I'm gonna have that whole closet done today. Like, woohoo! Finished. Today is PSSA schedule day, so as you guys know, my special is at the very, very end of the day. The kids have packed up, they have left all their backpacks at their table, so we're going to just come in, scoop their backpacks, and then head out to the door, which is really, really nice and easy. So I spent a little time during special now doing an outline for our banner for the garden that we started last year. So if you are pretty new to this channel, because I know that I've gotten a lot of followers since then, if you're pretty new to this channel, so my team, my MAC team, has built a garden. So we started raising money last year in order to create a community garden within our school districts. It was part of our PBL, or school district, or school, sorry, this is more school, but it was a part of our PBL last year. And we really wanted to help our community with giving families within our community, because we have a program that helps to kind of support them with food and like non-food items, and we wanted to give them fresh vegetables. So by doing that, we were, you know, hitting so many different standards that we needed to hit last year, and we're continuing that. So we're going to continue doing our garden. We have a time set Friday to be able to plant, but it looks like it's gonna rain. I'm gonna hope and cross my fingers that it's not gonna be so bad that we can at least get out there to plant the vegetables that we have now. So we're doing some of our colder weather crops. So we're probably about 2 to 3 weeks behind, but that's gonna be fine. We're gonna do a colder weather crop, and then we'll do one towards the end of May. That's gonna be for our summer crops that we have 2 other beds to do. So we wanted to put up a banner around where the garden is going to be, so that when visitors come, they can see what we are working on and what we're doing as a school, a district. And we hope to have everyone in the school be able to be a part of our garden. So that's why we're kind of calling it our school garden versus calling it like a MAC team garden, because we want everybody to be a part of it. That's the purpose of having a community garden, is that the community, everybody puts their hands on the garden. So that's kind of where we're at. The kids did a fantastic job as far as coming up with the rotation cycle. We did some research with that, determined the rotation cycle. We also had a few kiddos who wrote letters to businesses to be able to get donations for this. So I have been very, very proud of the work that they have done. So yeah, I think that on Friday we will also have a little bit of time, which is where the banner comes in. I'm super scatterbrained right now. Can you tell that's the end of the day? But on Friday, we are hoping to also have a little bit of time to be able to paint the letters. So I just did the outline of the letters, and then on Friday we can hopefully paint those in and make it kind of, you know, a team effort instead of it just being me that does all the work. So yeah, but that's ready, that's done. I feel really good about it. I think it looks nice. And then towards the very bottom of it, I think about like putting grass. I don't know, we'll come up with something. I'll have the team come up with something. So that is that. I will also say that I felt like my kids were super productive during our reading time. And I had a couple of girls who were already done, and they just really wanted to help do stuff. These are these kids that are just your helpers. So they decided to switch out my buckets for me, which was fantastic because it was one less thing that I had to do. So let me show you the gloriousness of those brand new buckets in my classroom. Check out how nice and neatly organized everything is now. Looks a million times better. All they did was switch out all of the buckets. I don't have any name tags on any of them, but I think it looks great. Turned out fantastic. So you can see up at the top, there's the papers that were kind of cleaned up, and then we have all of the paint here, some of the items there and there, and that's it. That's my closet. I'm incredibly proud at the fact that I felt like I got this entire closet. You guys remember how much of a hot mess this thing looked. Got it all done in a day. Makes me feel so good. So maybe it wasn't that messy, it just had junk in it. So for those of you who are wondering, no, your mind is not playing tricks on you. Yesterday during PSSAs, as I'm walking around, the one thing that I usually start thinking of is, what is it that I need to reorganize? What are some of the units that I want to start thinking about for next year? What do I need to get done for this year? And then my head started going to, what about changing the layout of my classroom? Honestly, to be true, like very honest here, not a lot has truly changed. I just flipped the sides. And mainly it was because my teaching area, while I love the setup, and the setup is the exact same thing, just on the opposite side of the room, while I loved it over there, that vent is incredibly loud. For those of you who have ever seen me like film next to that vent, or remember me filming next to that, it's super duper loud. And I already have like chronic ear issues. I think I'm partially I can't hear fully in one ear. Little fun fact about me. So yeah, I can't hear the kids over there, so I needed to flip-flop it, and I'm pretty happy with the setup. The round table just bothers me a little bit, but I think overall, I think that it's gonna work out just fine. And I like to kind of change things up every once in a while because the kids enjoy it, I enjoy it, let's just be honest. Like, we are all, internally, we are all interior designers. So we all like to switch things up a little bit. So, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and acknowledge that for you. So y'all, this is the drawer that I need to clean out. This is a wholly large drawer, and I'm pretty sure that it is really meant for poster boards, that type of situation. But I use it as a very huge supply area, but the kids kind of just dump at it. And if you guys remember, I purchased these at the Dollar Tree, and I love them. I thought they were fantastic, but they are too tall and they keep getting caught. So when I try to close it, like, that's what happens, and it drives me nuts. So I found a better solution. These are much smaller, and they are from Walmart, and I think they're about $6 for a tub of 8, which is not bad. So this is what I decided to kind of transfer out some of the items in here with these to make it all nice and pretty, so it also does not get caught. The kids are at special, and I have been working my tail feathers off. I am super tired. So I wanted to show you guys, because I did have the opportunity in the morning before the kids arrived to finish cleaning out my drawer and get it reorganized, and it looks fan-flippantastic. And then I want to share with you guys the little thing I created for our research and how we're collecting our research, because I think it worked out really well. So let me show those two things to you guys. So first off, here is my drawer. I love this so much better because these are so much lower. I have no issues closing my drawer anymore, which is really nice. So although these may have cost just a little bit extra, it was absolutely well worth it because it looks fantastic, and I have full function of my drawers again, which was really difficult. But there it is. My drawers are all nice and clean. Oh, that one isn't. So you are gonna have to excuse my mess because I do have a little bit of a mess. But so today we have started talking about how we're pulling information. This is something that we've had a conversation with our kids about all the time. We very much connect our reading and our writing instructions, so the students kind of see the connections between both of them. So as we're reading to learn and identify main ideas, the kids are also then writing about those main ideas and kind of using those formats to pull it into their writing. So we mentioned something that's called the box and bullets. I'll be very curious if you guys use box and bullets in your classroom, but that's how we teach main idea and key details. And so when we were going over and talking about research in general, how to pull that research and then how to organize it. In the past, I tried to do like index cards. That was a hot mess. I've tried a lot of different methods and it never really worked. I'm very excited for this method. So because we do use box and bullets to pull out the main idea and the key details, we are going to use this little resource that I created. So we have our box for them to be able to put the main idea from the source that they have identified, and then they have their bullets to be able to pull out those key details that they need to or that they would like to use for their research. Now up here you're going to see something that says glue bibliography here, and what this is I have made different little cards depending on the type of source that students are pulling from, because I do strongly encourage them to pull from multiple sources to get different perspectives, first-hand, second-hand accounts, and then also just having a variety. I think it's good to have that variety, having some books, having some from websites, having interviews or magazines or wherever it is coming from. We want to pull from a variety of resources. So they are going to use this little source. And I was kind of showing them the example of what that would end up looking like. So you see my writing that's on there. But they have this, which there's one for a book, one for internet, one for magazine, and then one for an interview. Now I do need to go and double check because I'm pretty sure that a database bibliography is separate from an internet bibliography. I have to double check and confirm that. If it is, then I have to create a different one just for the database version, because we are using a database to be able to pull information out of it. I'm gonna do that a little bit later on this evening. But anyways, so what's nice about this is these are gonna be pre-cut, and I'm gonna put them in little baskets in my classroom for my students to be able to access it. And what's nice is it walks them through like the entire process. So up here, it'll tell them the author, it'll say the title, it'll tell them the place, the publisher, and then the date that it was published. And it does that for each of the types of sources. So now my 5th and my 6th graders do have to create a bibliography. My 6th graders have to be able to cite the information in their writing. The 5th graders, we don't ask that they cite the information. We say like the author said, and we have them use their name, but we don't teach them the citation piece of it. So the 4th graders, we are gonna ask them to try it. There's no harm in trying it, since we are kind of teaching it to the entire class, but we're not gonna expect mastery right away. So once they pick out their card from the basket, one of those options, then they will simply glue it here in this space provided. So that is the exact same size. The kids are just gonna simply fill it out, glue it on there, and then they have their source with their box and bullets all nice in place. I know it says card, it's not a card. I told them that I was gonna keep it like that, but on their research paper. And so they have to keep all of their papers together at the end of it to be able to organize their information later, which is, we haven't gotten into that. So I was really excited about this. I thought it was cool. I'd love to know what you guys think. I thought it was a genius. I think I made it up. I don't know, I probably didn't. So I would love for you guys to just kind of give me your thoughts on it. I hope it works out great. I'll let y'all know on that. But overall, the kids were really excited about it. They're gonna get started, probably not tomorrow because tomorrow we have our party, but on Monday, they're gonna get started with looking up for their research for their topics. They've already decided their topics. It was based off of our field trip to Gettysburg. So when we went to Gettysburg, we had different rotations that the kids had to go through. There was one on the biology, there was one on the geology, there was one on the medical piece of it, the advancements that were made kind of from that time period. We also chose to do women in war, the life of a soldier during that time period, and then the 3 days of the battle. So the kids got to pick what they were the most passionate about or intrigued about to be able to further their research. So that's where they were going. They, within our Schoology, which is just where we house all of our information, within Schoology, they had to complete a discussion post telling us what their topic was. They had to tell us what was the knowledge that they have on it, so already building that background knowledge that we talk about. And then finally, we asked them to brainstorm at least 5 questions, 2 that are literal, 3 that are more those inferential, those higher level thinking questions, to get them started with where they're going to start researching to find that information. So I feel like I've been working hard, y'all. So I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was really great. I'm probably going to meet with my mentee again this afternoon right after school. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up with you guys. If not, we'll just find out. It is a pause meeting this morning, and what that means is we have a huge morning meeting together as an entire school, and my homeroom has to read the Creed, and we did not have the opportunity to practice yesterday afternoon. It'll be fine. We're gonna practice this morning. And then later on this afternoon, we're gonna have our Earth Day celebration. So we have a little bit of learning that's gonna happen in between there, but I am very excited for the day. Now, the bad thing is that it is raining. There are thunderstorms that are kind of predicted for this afternoon. So that means I can't take children out in thunderstorms. If it was light rain, we might have tried to trickle around it. However, thunderstorms, that's gonna be a no-go. I can't take kids outside in that. So we're gonna go to a plan B. The parents have already created some different rotations for my classroom so that when the kids come in, they'll do those rotations, and then we'll just garden hopefully on Monday, if the weather allows it. So I am gonna go ahead and get my things unpacked this morning. I want to get some things prepared for the next week, put it inside of my file cabinet, that 43 folder system. If you haven't watched it, if you're not using it, it'll change your life. I'll put it up in the description box. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna go do that. And it's a jeans day. It's like a good day when it's a jeans day. I'm comfy, I'm cozy, I've got my camping crew shirt on. Camping happens, by the way, in May. It does. My class has a little over 200 books to read. No, 100 books to read. I can't do my math. A little over 100 books to read. They're gonna totally kill that. I'm super stoked. My class is gonna meet their goal. All right, I'm gonna go get my things done this morning. I'll see you guys in a bit. It is now the end of the day, guys, and I am absolutely exhausted. The good news is, and I know you are all very curious about this, is yes, we did get to plant in the garden today. So during Earth Day, we got to go outside. We got all of our garden stuff done. The other two classrooms are a hot mess, but because nothing happened in my room since we were out in the garden, my room is nice and clean, which makes me feel good. But I am so unbelievably tired that I can't do anything. I just need to go home. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do. I am going to go home. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to give it a video a thumbs up for me to support the channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye.